All right, hello, and welcome to today's video, where we're going to be talking about one of my favorite things to talk about. And I think that this is something that is not super popular to talk about in our quick fix, self-help, spirituality, personal growth world today. And I feel like it's something that used to be really, really popular many years ago, when life was very different and when culture was very different. And it has fallen out of vogue, and we need to bring it back because it is the thing that actually works and the thing that actually takes us from where we are to where we want to go. And that is the concept of discipline and consistency and building habits and doing things over and over and over again. Having a practice. And how having a practice is really the key to any kind of hello. Can you let me know if you can hear me on Instagram? If you're on Instagram, that'd be great. Having a practice. Having a practice is really, truly the key. Perfect. Thank you. To healing, to changing our thoughts about ourselves, to becoming the person that we want to become, to learning how to love ourselves. It's the key to figuring out what is healthy or unhealthy in relationships and what we need to do to create healthy relationships. It's the key to figuring out what our bodies need and how we are going to nourish our bodies in a way that actually works for us long term. It's the key to becoming proficient at anything we want to become proficient at. It's the key to becoming good at anything we want to become good at. It's the key to expressing ourselves in the way that we want to express. It's literally the foundation for feeling how we want to feel in life to the degree that we are capable. Consistency and practice of things that we are capable of doing on a regular basis. This is the key to taking us from where we are to where we want to go. Okay? So we live in a world right now where everyone and their pet dog has a solution for us for why we feel terrible, what's not working, and the thing that's going to change us. Okay? And we live in a world right now where our complex human issues are continually boiled down into very reductionistic, this is the problem, this is what's wrong, and this is the one solution that we need to fix it. And this one solution, if we just did this one thing, it would change everything, it would heal everything, and it will create for you the world you want to live in, the body you want to live in, the personality you want to live in. It will heal you. It will take away all of your pain and bring you all of your pleasure. And it is this one thing that's going to fix everything. Okay? And so we have been trained in our minds and in our perception to view complex issues as having one simple cause and one simple solution. And we have been trained to believe that that one simple solution is supposed to work quickly. And that if it doesn't work quickly, and it doesn't work quickly in exactly the way that we think it should work quickly, as in it doesn't just completely heal us of all of our problems and take away all of our pain and make it so that we are in a perfect high vibe state all the time, that means that it didn't work, that means that it doesn't work, and we should just throw it away. Okay? And I'm going to get more into specifics as we talk. And I'm going to give examples, and I'm going to walk you through what the actual process of transformation and healing and growth really looks like. But I wanted to kind of lay that foundation and help you to start to just take a step back and look at the society that we're living in, and to really critically think about the things that are being sold to you as solutions for the problems that are happening in our world and for the pain that you are in specifically. As, okay, am I being sold that my complex human pain is being caused by this one thing, and that there's a single solution that's supposed to work overnight or in 30 days or in 5 minutes or in a session or in a whatever retreat that's gonna change my whole world? And do I feel like I must have done it wrong? Like I'm not enlightened enough? Like I'm not good enough? Like I'm not worthy? Like I'm failing if I attempt this single solution and it doesn't transform my entire life? It doesn't take away all of my triggers. It doesn't make me a completely, aligned spiritual being who never gets upset and has a perfect relationship with my family and a perfectly healthy body and my career is on track and everything in my life is perfect. If I don't have that I failed and I did it wrong. Or this thing just wholly doesn't work and I should just throw it away. Okay? That's the mindset I want you to start to look for in yourself and in the things that are being sold to you. Because here is the real reason why things are sold to us like this. Number one, it is incredibly good for the economy. Okay? The fact that we are sold that there are simple, one-step solutions to all of our complex human problems. And that if those one-step solutions don't work immediately, that means we need to go and buy something else. You see, it is incredibly good for our economy to have us thinking and living in this way. We have been called a throwaway society. We are living in an age right now where everything is disposable. Fast fashion, fast food, plastic plates. You see, everything is meant to be cheap, fast, and something we use quickly and then throw away. Fashion comes in cycles, so even if you buy something that's high quality and really great, it's out of fashion in the next season, and now you have to buy something new. Your plates, your dishes, your cutlery, we don't want to clean them. We don't want to do, we have this fast-paced lifestyle, so we just throw everything away. Everything's wrapped in plastic. Everything's single use. Right? We're redecorating our houses. This is obviously terrible for the environment. It's terrible for our pocketbooks a lot of the time. It's terrible for our self-esteem. It's terrible for our vision of humanity. It's not sustainable, but it's very, very good for our market economy that is built upon the idea of never-ending profits for the corporations that literally own everything and run everything. The more we can be in a state of consumption, constantly consuming things, the more profit margins increase. Shareholders and CEOs get richer. They get to buy that 8,000th yacht. Everybody plays, everybody wins. Everyone is stimulated. We're all getting new stuff all the time. Everything's new, everything's flashy, everything's quick, in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. We're constantly producing things. Demand is continually increasing. And it's a false kind of demand, right? Like, we have to remember that it's a false demand being created because so much of what we consume is meant to fall apart, is meant to go out of style, is meant to be temporary, so that we have to keep buying. Yeah? That's incredibly good for the economy, So, oh my goodness. I had my mic plugged in and then did not put it to my lapel. So I'm sorry for the video here. Sorry. That's incredibly good for the economy. Yeah? But it is not good for us. It is not good for our earth. It is not good for our souls. It's not good for our psyche. It's not good for our self-esteem. It's not good for our mental state to be in this constant state of consumption and stimulation. But it is normal at this point. That is just how things operate. That's just how things function. And like I say, it has been so heavily normalized that when it sneaks into these areas of our life, like spirituality and healing and growth and maturation and development of skills, we don't witness it as something not supportive. We don't see it as something out of alignment with what's actually going to work for us and what's actually going to be helpful. We just see it as normal. We see it as right. We see it as how it should be. Yes? So when our spiritual gurus and our self-help gurus and our self-love teachers get up here and every 6 months they have a new program, and every 6 months they have a new book, and every 6 months they have a new affiliate link and a new company they're partnering with, and this is the hot thing that we all need to be doing. And again, it's not sold to us as the new hot thing we all should be doing. It's never sold like that. It's always sold as, this has always been the answer, and I have finally found it for you. And now we can all find transcendence together because we have found it. And then in 5 months, there's going to be a new it. And then in 5 months after that, there's another new it. And we never question it. And we don't look at that and go, wait, okay, but I thought last time. I thought the last book was you telling me how you had transcended all of your pain. I thought the last retreat was supposed to have healed all of my trauma. I thought the last event and the last group coaching class was supposed to teach me everything that I needed to know about running my own business. And now you're telling me it's this thing. And now you're telling me it's that thing. And again, this thing and that thing all tend to always be in alignment with what's popular in culture right now, what the trend is. And then as soon as that trend starts to fall away, it will be replaced with something else, the new thing we gotta buy, the new thing we gotta get on. And then we are never finding a consistent something that we engage with over the long term to help support us in transformation. But rather, we're stopping and starting and stopping and starting and stopping and starting. Doing a new thing, doing a new thing, doing a new thing, doing a new thing. What's next? What's next? What's next? What's next? And then we never get anywhere. We feel like we keep ending up exactly where we started. We feel like we're putting in all this effort and we are trying super hard and doing all of this work. And it's never getting us anywhere. And we're thinking it's because we haven't found the right thing yet, instead of realizing that it's because we have never just committed to anything. We have never just built a sustainable practice for ourselves that is supportive through the complexity of the healing journey, the transformation journey, the growth journey. So we need to be able to shift our mindset to seeing that true success in transformation, growth, healing, stepping into who we want to be in the world, stepping into our potential, is not a single thing that's going to work in 30 days, or you need to try something else. Also, that the path is never going to be linear, right? We are expecting to find a thing that once we get on it, it immediately starts showing us results, and those results are just a straight line from where we are to where we want to go. And that if there's any 2 steps forward, 1 step back, you can do it for a little while and then it doesn't seem to give results, and then you have a breakthrough and then you forget, and then that means it's not working. That means you're not doing it right. That means you need the next thing. Because it's supposed to be this before and after transformation, right? That all of our teachers and all of our guides in the social media world especially, it's the before and after. I was struggling before. I was where you are. Life was shitty, just how it's shitty for you. I felt how you felt. It was terrible. Then I found this thing, and now I'm transcended. Now I'm healed. Now I'm my perfect self. And it's the before and after. It was just this one thing I did, and there's no explanation for what that in-between messy middle looked like. No one ever talks about that. And so when we start to have our messy middle, when we implement these things, and we're going forward and back and forward and back and getting confused, and this one thing isn't enough, it's not the whole thing, it's not the whole picture, and we're needing other things, and we're needing different support to add to what we're doing, we're on our journey. We think something's going wrong. We think we're doing it wrong. We think the thing isn't working, because no one is talking about what it actually looks like, what the reality of this is, because it's not attractive. It's not attractive. It's not what people want it to be. It's not what we're trained to look for. It doesn't sell well. And that's why so many of us who earnestly and honestly want to change, want to grow, want to heal, want to become masterful at something, are earnestly engaging with the things that we are being sold, and then are earnestly thinking that we're failing, or that we're doing something wrong, or that we're missing something, when really we are being shortchanged by the people who are selling things to us. We are being lied to about what the process looks like. Because the real process, again, is not good for the economy. It's generally not good for the bottom line in terms of being able to continually sell something new and be trending and be hot and fast all the time, which is what you need to do and what you need to be, especially if you're like running a business on social media. Coming up here every week and like saying the same thing over and over and over again, and kind of, it's, I don't know if you've noticed, never been trending. It's never been very popular. I've never blown up because it doesn't fit into the economy. It doesn't fit into our systems. which are very, very good for the corporations that run everything, and not so great for everything and everyone else. So that's my 20-minute intro. But hopefully there was some nuggets of information in there that help you start to look at the world around you and to see these systems for what they are when they are presented to you. Okay? Because that is the first step of getting out of the complicated, complex web of lies that we are being sold over and over and over again. Is we have to start to recognize the systems and the patterns. Okay, so now I want to give you some examples. Okay? So we have in our world today, very reasonably, a lot of people who do not believe in the medical industrial system. Because I call it an industrial system because it's a very big industry. Pharmaceuticals, doctors, mainstream healthcare, mainstream nutrition, foods that are generally available. Okay, like the what we are all sort of fed as the system. And for all of us who are wokies, who look at that and go, it's all corrupt, it's all wrong, it's all bad. Yeah? And we say the reason we all have diabetes is because we're eating ultra processed foods. And if we all just switch to a whole foods diet, everything would be fine. That's the solution. We are all sick because of processed foods. And then even more than that, right? It's processed foods because they contain seed oils. Seed oils are the problem. And if we all just got rid of seed oils, we'd be perfectly healthy. Or these dyes and these additives, GMOs, these chemicals, we pick one thing, carbohydrates. We pick an enemy. We pick a single thing. And we blame all of our problems on that single thing. And we say the system is corrupt because they're selling us this single thing that is the problem. And so again, then we have our wellness influencers, our I'm against the system, I'm here to empower you, I'm here to change your world and heal you and help you wake up to the real matrix and all of this. And they come in and they tell you, right? It's seed oils. It's carbohydrates. It's GMOs. It's this one thing that is causing all of our problems. And if you got rid of that from your diet, if we go to Congress and we demand no more red dye number 67, we're doing something. We're conquering the bad guy. We're speaking truth to power. And then we all get on the no seed oil thing. We all get on the no GMOs. We all think we have to eat organic. And then we feel bad when we can't. Because let's be honest, this is what we're going to go into, right? There's no looking at the bigger system. There's no acknowledgement of why we are actually in the situation we're in with our health. And why boiling it down to a single cause is never going to be the solution. Because then again, right, it sounds so empowering and it sounds so great. The wellness influencer who tells us it's seed oils, it's this, it's that. They make us feel like, yeah, right, I'm woke, I have the answer, I'm aware of the evil and what the evil is and how the evil is affecting us. I'm smart. That's the whole point of it, right? They want to make you feel like you are superior and you have superior knowledge. They want to make you feel like you have power because now you know how to identify what the bad guy is, what the wrong thing is. And then they make you feel seen and heard and included, because so often the way that they present this, they don't just come up and say seed oils are bad. They come up and say, are you dealing with diabetes? Are you struggling with heart issues? Are you overweight and you don't like how your body looks and you've tried all the diets and it's not working for you and you feel tired and you feel sluggish? And they're connecting with you on your pain. That's always how they get in there. What's your pain point? Is it sickness? Is it how you look? Is it how you feel? I understand. I see you. I get that. I validate that. And it's not your fault, right? It's the evil seed oils. It's the evil corporations. And then they boil it down. So now you feel seen. You feel validated. You feel like you have insider information. You feel connected to this person. They are then rallying against some sort of injustice, and they make you feel like you're part of a cause. And then they turn around and they sell you their supplement, or their diet protocol, or their diet book, or their membership group, where they will teach you how to transcend all this. And if you just follow their program perfectly, you will have perfect health, right? You'll get rid of seed oils, and then that is what it is. You see how enticing that is? Huge, big systemic issue boiled down to, this is the bad guy, this is the bad thing, you're woke now, I see you and I validate you, you feel connected to me, now come join my thing, and it will be the perfect thing. And this is what we see in the spirituality world just as much. We see, oh, you have childhood trauma, or you have anxiety. Well, here's what it is. It's childhood trauma. For every single one of us, every single time, anxiety is rooted in childhood trauma. You'll notice that in our pseudo psychological, everyone's a psychology expert now, everything is trauma. Because that's the new hot thing. Whatever your issue is, it's either trauma or neurodiversity these days. So you have anxiety, you have depression, you have low motivation, you're not able to be the person you want to be. It's trauma. And it's caused by this thing, this adverse experience. So now you feel, again, they are going to use the same playbook. Are you struggling with this awful thing that feels awful? You have panic attacks at night, you can't sleep, you have no motivation, you don't want to go to work, you don't feel good in your relationships. I see you. I was there too. I used to also struggle with that. But don't worry, because I don't struggle with that anymore, because I realized it was my trauma. It was my childhood trauma from this thing happening to me. And you remember how that happened to you too? You remember how you identify with this? Don't worry. I have the meditation technique, or the tapping technique, or the diet, or the spiritual retreat, the secret to unlock all of your trauma and make it so that you can transcend it. And all you have to do is join my program, come to my retreat, do my thing. and it's 30 days, it's a weekend, it's 12 weeks of coaching, and you're going to be liberated from this thing. It's sold to us in the exact same way. This is exactly how clothes are sold to us. You want to be included, right? You don't want to feel left out and weird, right? You want to feel like you're part of the group, right? Like you have the answer, like you're on top of it. You want to be perceived as good and on top of it and rich and powerful. Buy this jacket. Buy these pants. Be on trend. This thing defines you. How you dress defines how people see you. What kind of image do you want to have? Who are you? Well, dress that way. Here's the problem. You feel insecure. You don't feel like you're yourself. You don't feel like you have an identity. Well, no problem. Express yourself with these clothes. And then next month, a different pair of clothes. And then It's all the same playbook. You feel pain on some level. We boil it down to one evil bad guy. We sell you that there's a single solution. You try that solution. It doesn't work. That's what's always going to happen. Okay? You're going to get initial results most of the time. So, right, you join the diet program. You join the meditation group. Whatever. The novelty of trying something different is always going to lead us to feel like something happened. I guarantee you. And even so, right? Like, sure. For most of us, we start eating less processed foods and more whole foods. We're going to feel better. And we're being told it's because you're no longer eating seed oils, and that's the thing that saved you. Instead of you're just eating more fruits and vegetables in general. It has nothing to do with seed oils. You do the meditation technique. Well, yeah, you're spending 5 or 10 minutes a day connecting with yourself. It's going to, at first, feel better to do that than to not do that. You go to the retreat. Okay, so on the retreat, you're all of a sudden in community. You're all of a sudden connected to a whole bunch of people who are seeing you. You're having this really intense, isolated experience of connection and talking about things you've probably never talked about before, and sharing things and being seen and validated in ways you've never been seen and validated before. So you're going to think, oh my God, this changed my life. This healed me. I feel so much better. When it has nothing to do with the technique. You literally could have sat around singing potato, potato, potato. The magic incantation of potato. But the fact that you were in community for 3 days and talking about things that happened to you and being seen and heard and validated in that experience, or being told that this thing we're doing is gonna change you, and it's really intense and it's really a lot and overstimulating for the nervous system, you're gonna feel something. And then you're not gonna be able to sustain it. You're not gonna be able to maintain it because no actual issues were addressed. And then you're gonna think, well, it felt like it was working when I was doing it. I did get results. And now that I can't do it anymore, or I can't do it consistently, I'm not getting those results anymore, so it must be that I'm failing and I'm doing it wrong. Or, well, that didn't work. And then the new thing that's sold to us the exact same way, hooks us in with those emotional hooks, sells us another quick thing. We get quick results at the beginning from making a change, and then the whole cycle repeats over and over and over again. Or we find something that works, right? In the diet world, in the spirituality world, whatever it is, our meditation, we find something that does seem to be getting us results. And then we're like, okay, what's next? What's the next thing? Because this is sort of working. I'm feeling something. But now it's getting boring. Just doing this over and over again, that's not stimulating. That's not exciting. Right? Like now I just have to eat this way forever? I don't want that. Now I just have to sit on my meditation cushion and feel my feelings every day? What's next? What's the next thing? What's the new hotness? Because this isn't stimulating. Now I have to just sit at my computer and practice writing on the days when all the new freshness of the new program has worn off and I don't have motivation anymore and I'm kind of forgetting why I even cared. What's next? What's next? I want to be stimulated. Because we live in a culture where there's always a what's next. There's always something to stimulate us. There's always the next new hotness. So we never have to get bored. We never have to sit with ourselves. We never have to be with our emotions. We never have to look at the bigger picture. We don't have time to look at the bigger picture because we're on to the next thing and on to the next thing and on to the next thing. Are you starting to see what I'm talking about? Do you have any questions or comments or concerns? That it's all the same playbook over and over and over again. I'm going to hook you in by connecting with your pain point, boiling your problem down to something that we can easily understand. I'm going to sell you a simple solution. It's going to feel like it works at first because it's novel and it's new and it's exciting. And then I'm going to sell you another thing and another thing and another thing and another thing because eventually this is going to get boring or it's going to stop working. And rather than having addressed any kind of system or any kind of actual underlying issue of why we weren't doing that thing in the first place, we're blamed and shamed that we failed. And so we either just need to try harder or buy the next thing. Or we get bored. Or progress isn't linear. We hit plateaus. Things don't work as fast as we thought they were going to. We don't become the person we were expecting we were supposed to become. And therefore, we give up. So if none of that works, what does work? That's exactly the point of this video. The thing that actually works is finding practices, number one, that do give subtle results that you can then do sustainably over the next 10 years. Like literally, I know people don't like to hear this, but I like to frame it in this way. So even if it's not for the next 10 years, because for a lot of us, it's not going to be the next 10 years, but we frame it this way to help us actually ground into what it is we should be investing in. Okay? So when we're looking at our meditation practice, and the gurus tell us you need to sit for an hour and feel your feelings, and this is what processing. Okay, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to say, can you see yourself reasonably, sustainably keeping that up for the next 10 years? And if the answer is no, then my suggestion to you is that that is not the thing for you. Could you reasonably do 10 minutes of emotional processing for the next 10 years? Could you reasonably see yourself committing to 10 minutes? Because you found a thing that is giving you some results. It is helpful on some level. Okay, so that's the first step. I'm not saying that everything that everyone is selling is wrong. Meditations do work. Feeling your feelings does work. Changing your diet does work. The thing that doesn't work is the extreme change that doesn't address the whole system of your life, that isn't sustainable for you. Because here's the thing, okay? You're going to start with 10 minutes of a meditation. And at first you're going to be like, that's not enough. That's not going to transform my life. 10 minutes of meditation isn't going to do anything. I don't really feel anything with 10 minutes. Okay, that's fine. But I promise you, you are going to eventually get bored and lack motivation. The newness is going to wear off. And then it's going to require that you have some discipline to turn that meditation into a routine. Okay? Masters practice the basics every day. That is what makes us masterful. That is what actually creates something where a tool can work. Is it being practiced regularly over a long period of time, long after motivation and excitement has worn off? We want to be able to develop a habit so that it's just what you do now. You see? Where you get to a place where it's easier to just get up and do your 10 minutes of meditation than to not, because it's your habit. It's just what you do. You're not thinking about it in terms of, how do I do this the most intense possible to heal myself as quickly as possible? Rather, you think about it as a tool you're using to start to increase your strength and capacity and awareness. And it's something you're going to build upon as you go. Okay, so you're going to start with that 10 minutes of meditation because that's what you can sustainably do with the lifestyle you actually have. And then you're going to get to a place where it feels like habit, where it just feels like it's actually easier to keep doing that than to not do it. Like we give the metaphor of, how much discipline do you have to use to get yourself to brush your teeth every day? Probably not much. Most of us do it without even really thinking about it because it's such a practiced part of our routine that we just do it. It would be more effort to not brush your teeth than to brush your teeth. That's what a sustainable practice that's actually going to heal you is gonna look like. And then as you're doing your meditation practice, over time, the longer you do it, two things are gonna happen. Number one, your awareness of what you need and what's going on for you and your issues and how your nervous system works and your patterns and your emotional resilience and what's going on for you in your emotions and how your mind works, your awareness is going to increase exponentially the longer you commit to the practice. Your mastery of yourself and your awareness and what you need will incrementally increase as you practice the same practice over and over and over again. So it looks like you're doing the same thing every day. But because you're continually doing it, what you get out of it is just going to exponentially increase the longer you do it, which is going to lead to a point where you all of a sudden have the capacity for 20 minutes. And that feels sustainable and doable. And then you realize, okay, so this kind of meditation was really helpful. And then I found this other technique that I can kind of add to it that is increasing my awareness. It's increasing my capacity. It's increasing and it's adding to what I'm already doing. So we're not jumping into a whole new thing. We're adding to the foundations we've laid. And then all of a sudden we're adding in breath work, but we're adding it in. We're layering it on top. Our awareness of what we are needing and what we are feeling and what we are going through is increasing because of consistent practice. Our capacity is increasing because of consistent practice. Our ability to stick with it even when it's boring is increasing because of consistent practice. And then our ability to add complexity increases because of consistent practice. We start a yoga practice, we can't even touch our toes. We keep doing the same asana over and over and over again. We start to develop mastery of that asana. And then eventually we can start to build upon those foundations by adding more asana. Because we have the foundation from what we just did. And now we can move up a level, and we move up a level, and we move up a level. We didn't stop practicing. We didn't jump to a different kind of practice. Because we stuck with what we were doing, our capacity for time increases, our capacity for flexibility increases, the things we can do increase, our awareness of our body increases. Do you see what I'm saying? It's a whole different paradigm. So does this mean you're going to do the exact same meditation for the next 10 years? Probably not. But the reason it's going to change is not going to be because you jump to a new thing and to the next trend, to the next trend, to the next trend. It's going to be because you built foundations from practicing and practicing and practicing and practicing. And then your awareness of what you need to add to it becomes more complex. Your awareness of the systems. So yeah, maybe it's trauma. But trauma isn't just one thing. Trauma isn't just one experience. And there isn't just one thing that heals trauma. You start with something that helps you feel a little bit better. And you practice it and you practice it and you practice it and you practice it. And you're going to notice that as you do that, your awareness increases. It's like magic. And sometimes we just have to experience it for ourselves to see that what I'm saying is true. You didn't have to necessarily read another book or do another thing. It's just you continued to commit to a practice, and in doing that, you learned new things about yourself because you just kept showing up and inquiring so often that it stopped being just superficial. You go deeper and deeper and deeper. And then you can read a book and get so much more out of it. And you add it to what you're doing. You add it to your discipline. And adding becomes easier because you've built the foundation of discipline. You've built the foundation of habit. So you have that now. So when you want to make it more complex, you have the container to do that. Also, by committing to a daily practice, when you inevitably experience the 2 steps forward, 1 step back, that it feels like it's doing something for a little while and then it feels like there's a stagnation, you don't just give up. That's the big thing. You don't just give up and go to the next thing. You say, okay, what's not working here? Or, is this just a part of being a human? Because change and transformation and growth is hard. It's uncomfortable. We're going to fall back into old habits. We're going to fall back into old mindsets. We're going to have the same, I can't do this, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough stuff come up. And by facing that challenge of facing that, experiencing that, and not letting it be a reason to give up, but just saying, okay, well, I'm just going to keep going and I'm going to see what happens. Do I need to add something to the practice? Is this showing where this solution that I have is not the whole picture? That doesn't mean I throw it away. That doesn't mean I quit. But maybe I need to add something to it to make it more complex. Because now I'm starting to see that I have more awareness and more capacity to do that. Or is this a situation where I just need to realize that the results are in the practice? Right? I fell back a step. Okay. Keep practicing. Keep trying. Keep building. Eventually, it starts to work a little bit more for a little bit longer. And then we fall back. And then we keep practicing, and then it works for a little bit longer. We can be a little bit more aware. We can be a little bit more on our own side consistently because we're practicing. Right? Like when we're first learning how to do a handstand. You fail and fail and fail and fail and fail, and then you stick it. And then you fail and fail and fail, and then you stick it. And then you fail and fail and then stick it, and then fail and stick it and fail and stick it, and then you stick it and stick it and stick it and fail, until eventually it becomes a thing you can just do. Because you just kept doing it. You kept practicing and practicing and practicing and building your technique and building your awareness. And because you kept practicing, your awareness of all the little details increases. So then again, right, you can start to see, okay, it's not seed oils. It's the whole system. What actually supports my body? Okay, it's not just one bad, evil thing. It's not that all of mainstream medicine is wrong and bad. It's not that everything alternative is perfect. It's far more complicated than that. There's way more to it. And we got to look at the whole big picture. It's not just if we just got rid of seed oils, everyone's healthy. With healing trauma, it's not the one practice. It's like, wow, we're super disconnected. We have no sense of community. There's no safety nets in our culture. We're trained to be as hyper individualistic as possible. All of these things are contributing to my anxiety. It's not just a lack of one thing. So then how do I start to address all of these issues as I incrementally become aware of them? And that's the thing about a disciplined practice, is that you will become aware of the things you are capable of addressing at the time when you're capable of addressing them. It's not about blasting yourself into awareness of all the childhood trauma that you've ever experienced and trying to heal it in a session. None of us are going to have the capacity for that. But if you slowly over time build capacity to hold yourself, build tools, build discipline, build awareness, you don't force it, you don't rush it, you don't push it. You just allow what's coming up to come up as it comes up. And you add tools to your toolbox as they come up. That's how we heal over 10 years. And again, you will feel better every step you take. So we let go of perfection. We let go of arriving and saying, I'm not going to feel good until I'm perfect, because that's never true. When we're on the path of discipline, we will incrementally feel better. You will keep feeling better than you've ever felt over time as you practice. So does this mean that we're going to add things at some point? Yes. But it's going to be an addition. It's not throw the old thing away, get on a whole new thing. Is our capacity going to increase? Yes. Right? The weights you are lifting in the gym today are not going to be the same weights you lift in 10 years. But it's likely that you're going to be doing very similar movements 10 years from now, with just way heavier weights in 10 years. Your capacity for agility and speed and strength will be way different in 10 years. But the thing that got you there was just, you just went to the gym every day. You just did it. And you did what you could do that day. And then your strength increased and your awareness increased. And your awareness of different things that you were interested in increased. And then your capacity to do those things increased because you just kept showing up every day. Now you're into acro and you're doing flips and handstands. And you just never would have even been aware of that had you not stuck with it over time. Does this make sense? Does that answer your question, Anna? It's a whole different paradigm. What can I see myself doing sustainably for the next 10 years? That's a practice we want to do. And then as we do that, it becomes habit. And then as it becomes habit, our awareness and our capacity increases. And as our awareness and capacity increase, we can add things to our toolbox. So yes, everything is going to be different in 10 years. But it will be like this, it won't be like and then I did this, and then I quit that, and then I started this, and then I quit that, and like all these different chapters. It will be this long blend of things that all blend into each other to create this big, long path you've been on. But it's like you've been meditating the whole time. You've been doing your asana the whole time. The ship just looks totally different by the other side of the journey. But it's still the ship. Right? I've been meditating every day for the last 10 years. My meditation does not look today like it did before. I have so much more awareness, so much more capacity. It has shifted a million times, but it's still meditation every single day. And now it would be weird not to do it. Do you see what I'm saying? It transformed my nervous system. My awareness of all the complexities of all the things that I've been through and what I have needed has increased exponentially because I just kept showing up. It's a totally different experience now than it was 10 years ago because I just kept showing up. Does this make sense? Masters practice the basics every single day. So what are your basics? What are the basics that are available to you that are sustainable for you? And just do that. And when your capacity increases, you will know, because it won't be overwhelming. You won't have to push yourself. It won't be one of these things that require white knuckle discipline. It won't be something you're on and off and on and off and on and off. It'll be like, okay, this feels like the natural next progression and I'm capable of it. It's hard and it's uncomfortable and it's challenging. But it's not this wild swing from what I'm currently doing. Yeah? And your awareness will increase to the degree that you're capable of handling it. You don't have to push it. You don't have to push yourself to get to the next level. You need to stay at your capacity, and then you go a little bit beyond it when you're ready and you have the capacity and the space to do that. And you just keep doing that over time. Okay? So any closing questions, comments, concerns before we close out? Nothing? We're all good? Okay. So hopefully that was helpful. That's why, again, the mystery school, 5 years. Because it's a thing we slowly do every day. It's repetition. Repetition, 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 repetition. You want to learn how to play the piano? You play your scales every day till the day you die. Right? The person who just started, the master who's been playing piano for 80 years, they both play their scales. Play your scales. Find your scales, play your scales. That's how you're going to get to where you want to go. Okay? Okay. So thank you for being here. You are awesome. I hope to see you in my other videos, in the mystery school, in coaching. I'm here for you. And until next time, I'll see you next week.